Hello everybody, Papen here, and welcome in my studio. And you can see quite some classic synthesizers here, and today this video is about synthesis, and in particular EuroRack. A friend of mine builds this very nice sounding ReBach modules, and I wanted to make a video about it because I love this sound they create, and it's a great starting point in case of this rack size to start with modular synthesizers. Of course, I'm known for the software synthesizers, but in general, I love synthesizers. If they are hardware, if they are software, to me it doesn't matter. It's all about the sound they create and the music you create with them. So, okay, you see, there are also some great books written about synthesizers. This one from Kim Bjorn, Push, Turn and Move, about electronic music. It's a very thick book. It's a great book. You need to check that out about synthesizers. Then recently he released together with Chris Meyer this Patch and Tweak about this whole revival of this modular synthesizer systems. You see here a System 22 from synthesizer.com, and yeah, of course today this video I talk about a nice setup with this ReBach EuroRack modules. Absolutely fantastic book if you are into that. And of course I like to promote my own book, which is called the 4-element synth. Picture that subtractive synthesis, which is used in the Minimoog and the Jupiter 8 on the synthesizer.com in EuroRacks, is the most popular synthesis. And on the software side, for instance, Predator uses it, Sub-Boom Bass 2, Massive, Silent. Many synthesizers have as base subtractive synthesis because it's the most popular synthesis around. So I wrote a book about this type of synthesis, and it's really a good learning book to get the base in how these synthesizers work, so that you can work with software synthesizers, but also with a rack. EuroRack synthesizer, with a Minimoog, with a Virus, with a Nord lead. So check this out, this book. It has at the end of the book, it has a printout. You can see it here. Okay, let's see if I... And this is the way I teach it. So if you're maybe a young producer, just starting to play around with synthesizers and want to know more about all these dials and these buttons and the cables in case of a modular synthesizer, how you should connect them and how it all works, check out this book. Okay, so of course I'm known, as mentioned, I'm known for the software synthesizers, but in general I love synthesizers. If it's hardware or software, I don't mind, as long as they sound great and they are great for making music. And today's video is about this little EuroRack, which I show you what I did in this setup. So let's check it out. Yes, okay guys, what I do now is using the ReBach synthesizer. It goes into my audio card. You see here my microphone, and I put a delay, RP delay, on this ReBach EuroRack setup. And currently I use only one oscillator, and then later on, by putting on the second oscillator, you will see that you've got a lot of additional sound options. Now I will show simply with one oscillator. I will turn the envelope and just play it along while also the music is playing, mainly as how it works out in combination with your computer, with a music creation. So and you will notice that it has a very full basic sound, these ReBach. Here you have the envelope amount. The envelope is here. Resonance. Make it more as a bass, so this is the envelope for the volume. if the filter is closed, it sounds very, very full and very warm. The moment when I open the resonance, then you get really some very nasty screaming sounds. Down here you see there's a warning symbol, because if you go too high it's really gonna scream out. So I think this makes the filter very versatile, because it can sound very sweet and warm, but you can make it also scream if you go up with the resonance. Okay, now let's use the second oscillator, also with the saw waveform, and you see it makes it more fuller. Now both are at the same level. I also could say make them one octave higher, but now I'll play around with this sound. Of course I can change the envelope. Oscillators, one octave difference. So as you can hear, very musical in sound, very warm. I was really impressed by the fullness in the sound, and of course I have some great references here like the Minimal, the Jupiter, the Modular System 22. This is the envelope amount. This envelope is connected. By opening this, I have more envelope amount. So the second oscillator really makes that you can create a bit more fuller sound. Make a fifth. So this is a fifth. Of course, I use it now in a musical context. I also can use the LFO here, which has the triangle output, to use pulse width modulation on the first one. So I go here, pulse width modulation input, and then okay. Of course, I need to select the pulse waveform. So now you hear the first one has no pulse width modulation. type stuff of things. So if you go fully to the right, it has really a nice so this one is oscillator 1. I still can use the second one. Okay, let's put the second one so that we have even very full sound. This is just simply using the sequencer, fiddling around, and you see you have a lot of interesting sound options. Well, here's this EuroRack. It's a case from Doepfer, and also a Doepfer MIDI interface is added. So this is a very nice setup, which I think is a perfect starting up setup. Also because of the sound it creates. So, well, in this setup you can see two oscillators, one filter, an envelope which I will connect to the filter, there's a VCA, and an envelope which is the second envelope in this setup, which I will connect to the VCA, to the amplifier. Then there is an LFO, which is in the color blue. They will also be available in black, and I like them black a bit better. But for now, I put in the blue one. So an LFO we have here, a noise generator, and as a multiplier. So if you would say, I take this envelope, I want to use it also to another point, you can go from the envelope to this multiplier, then go to several points at once. So with this rack, we really have a two oscillator synthesizer. This is already comparable what you can do with a Minimoog. Okay, so now let me explain how I did all the connections. And here we have the gate. So the MIDI comes in, and then you need to tell the synthesizer that it needs to play the moment you hit the keyboard. So the connection would be that you go to the envelope, and this and both envelopes are here. Okay, let's connect it. So when I hit a note, then this it will be indicated. So this triggers this envelope. From there, from the envelope, okay, so we'll take the envelope output. It goes into, okay, I need to move around a bit, the patch cables. Okay, it goes to the CV input. So now this envelope controls the amplifier. Then there is, of course, the output of this one, this other envelope, which I use to control the filter envelope. And that one goes inside that part. So now if I would hit the keyboard, I already would have a note. But it would, each time it would be a click, because yeah, I still need to connect the oscillators. But what I also need to do is tell the oscillators which note they have to play. Well, this is then the CV control voltage. You need to connect that one here. to make that the oscillators know which pitch they have to play. What I also did is then make a split cable. You see, this is a split cable. And I take now a waveform out, saw waveform, also the saw waveform from the oscillator 2, and both go into the filter, of course. Yeah, of course, the input goes into the filter, but also needs to, to pass on to the amplifier. So I also have this output here from the filter, which goes in the input of the amplifier, and from there it goes to your mixer, and yeah, you can play notes. So this is the basic setup. And of course I played already ahead of this video some sounds I created. And yeah, another thing what you can do is, of course, use the noise for modulating, or the LFO, which I did also used for controlling the pulse width inside this setup. So this is the basic connection. The CV keyboard output from the MIDI interface goes to the CV input of both oscillators. The gate goes to the envelopes, and the envelopes control the filter and the amplifier. So this is a basic setup, which essentially you also will find in other synthesizers. In the Minimoog, you don't see the connections because they don't use these cables. And of course, in software synthesizers, you don't see the cables, but connections are made. So this shows very well how a synthesizer works, how subtractive synthesis works. Okay, here I'm back again. I'm using now the webcam because that's easier to record the video. And play here the keyboard. I put a bit of delay on it. So you see now I only use one oscillator. You see I made a split cable, so the split cable goes into the filter 1, which is the low pass filter. And yeah, you see up here is a CV control 1. When I move this up here, it is the envelope amount. So this attack, decay, sustain and release. So you see you have a single so if you want to make more a TBT, TB303 sound, it's so that's very cool. This filter is very cool. Here is a warning message. If you go with the resonance very high, you need to be careful with the audio because it's going to be very loud. But that offers a lot of sound options. That makes this filter so great. And of course, if you don't use the extreme resonance setting, it's simply a very smooth sounding bass. And of course, we have two oscillators here. The two oscillators makes that you have far more sound freedom. So that's why I like this setup. You have two oscillators, one filter with an envelope, amplifier with an envelope, a LFO and a noise. This is really already a very versatile EuroRack synthesizer, which you can use and have a lot of fun with. And as mentioned, you can really learn how synthesizers work, because what you see here, the patch cables, oscillators go into the filter. Yeah, for instance, in a, let's say the Minimoog or a software synthesizer, you don't see patch cables anymore, then it's internally connected. But this, yeah, makes clear how things work. And you see this white cable, that one is for the pitch, so that the oscillators know which note they have to play. So now it's two oscillators. Here. you have a more lead sound. And of course, with detuning, you really can make some. So if this is very narrow tuned each to each other, but if I detune it a bit more, they have a more EDM techno type of sound. Okay. What's also cool is that you see this envelope, attack, decay, sustain, and release, I use on the filter, but it has a second output. So I also can use it, for instance, to make a pitch glide. So when I send it now to the frequency modulation, so it changes the frequency of oscillator, the second oscillator here. So it's really a different character. So narrow tuned, and then the envelope makes a little pitch glide. And of course, you also can detune one octave lower. And now you hear this warm character of this filter.